I am Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso, a country located in the heart of West Africa, where the land and sky merge with breathtaking nature and resilient people. This is a place where the human spirit never fades, where every smile, every step carries the enduring vitality of the continent. Every day, I carry the responsibility of leadership, guiding the nation through challenges, many of which can only be partially seen, both visible and invisible. I strive to maintain order in the Sahel, endeavoring to protect the values that form the core of Africa. Yet, amid these duties, meetings, and decisions, my life is defined by another kind of strength: faith. For me, faith is not merely a ritual of worship. It is a lens through which I view the world, a way to honor the strength, patience, and dignity of those who work quietly and love wholeheartedly. Especially the women of this continent, people the world often fails to truly see. And it was precisely in that seemingly ordinary moment that something extraordinary began to unfold. It was a weekend in the capital, Ouagadougou. The sun was slowly setting, its golden light spilling through the windows of my office, shining on piles of unfinished paperwork. Work, responsibility, phone calls, reports, all awaited me. Yet my body and mind were weary, exhausted. I sat down in my lounge chair, hoping for just a moment of calm. Outside, the city moved with its usual pace, people walking in the rhythm of daily life, unaware that within the walls of my residence, something extraordinary was about to happen. I could not have imagined that a simple nap would open the door to a spiritual experience so profound, a vision that would forever change the way I understand Africa, its women, and the path we can walk together. As I closed my eyes, my thoughts wandered between state duties and the faces of those I serve. No voice spoke, no policy or decision appeared. Instead, a warm, gentle presence enveloped me, penetrating deep into the core of my being. The ordinary afternoon became a threshold to the extraordinary. And then, before my eyes, appeared a message that I realized was not meant for me alone, but for the world. A message that, if ignored, would be a lost opportunity, but if heeded, could change the way we perceive the strength and role of African women. In that dream, I saw the invisible threads of strength, patience, and love weaving through every life, every family, every community. I saw courage that is often quiet, sometimes forgotten, yet is the guiding light for great change. For the first time, I understood that these were not political stories or power struggles. These were living truths, as powerful as the sunlight streaming through the window that day. African women are pillars of hope, resilience, and a source of inspiration for transformation. And I, a leader, suddenly realized that I was entrusted with a responsibility to bring this message to light. But what I witnessed in that first dream was only the beginning. I awoke, still feeling the weight of awe and purpose. I knew this story would not end with a single dream. It would unfold through visions, through words, and through revelations about faith, leadership, and the extraordinary role of African women in shaping the destiny of the continent. What I had seen remained deeply etched in my mind, compelling me to tell it, honor it, and ensure that the world does not overlook the women who quietly change lives every day. Yet the most astonishing part, the part no one could have anticipated, was what was to come next in those dreams. As I drifted deeper into sleep, the atmosphere around me began to shift. The familiar walls of my living room seemed to dissolve, replaced by a luminous space that felt both infinite and intimate. Rays of light streamed from above, not harsh or blinding, but soft and warm, like the meeting of dawn and the lingering glow of sunset. The sensation was unlike anything I had ever felt. It was as if the very air had been infused with peace, a quiet power that washed away fatigue, worry, and every trace of tension. In that moment, I understood that light is more than a physical phenomenon. It is love, protection, and hope made visible. Then he appeared. Jesus, bathed in radiant light, clothed in garments as white as pure snow, stood before me. The brilliance around him was not just illumination, it was presence. Every shadow in my mind seemed to dissolve in his glow. His eyes met mine, calm yet penetrating, filled with love and understanding that reached beyond the surface, beyond words, into the very core of who I am. I felt seen in a way I'd never been seen before, not only my duties, my worries, and my fears, but the hidden layers of my heart, the quiet moments of doubt and hope alike. I experienced an energy emanating from him that was gentle yet unyielding. My heart stilled, my mind emptied, and a profound tranquility settled within me. It was not fear, nor awe in its usual sense, but a clarity and stillness that spoke louder than any command. In that silence, I realized that love is power. Love transforms, protects, and guides even in the darkest of circumstances. It is a force that can move nations, heal communities, and lift spirits. Then, his voice came not merely to my ears, but echoing throughout my entire being. It resonated in every fiber of my body. as if my thoughts themselves had taken form and sound. Ibrahim, he said, look deeply and listen. You will see the value of those who labor silently, who are never praised, yet form the foundation of family, community, and society. You must tell their story to the world. Look, see, and carry forth the message of love, patience, and the hidden strength within every African woman. I felt a shiver of revelation. This was not a personal suggestion or gentle advice, it was a sacred mission. Every moment of unseen dedication, every sacrifice, every patient act of care held significance beyond what I had realized. Even the smallest gestures, a mother's comforting touch, a teacher's tireless guidance, a nurse's unwavering commitment, had the power to change lives, communities, and nations. In that instant, I understood that leadership is more than governance. Leadership is recognition, elevation, and protection of human value. To see and honor what is often overlooked is not a courtesy, it is an act of justice in creation. This mission, entrusted to me in the quiet of an ordinary afternoon, illuminated a path I had never fully recognized, a path where the invisible work of women becomes visible, celebrated, and multiplied across generations. The light surrounding him seemed to pulse with purpose, drawing my consciousness into a vivid clarity. I saw that real strength does not lie in authority or material power. True strength lies in the ability to nurture, to protect, to trust, and to inspire the best in others. Each heartbeat, each breath seemed in harmony with his message. I felt a calling to carry this vision beyond myself, to speak not only as a president but as a witness, a messenger of the truth I had been shown. And as quickly as it had begun, the voice softened, leaving behind a lingering warmth, a gentle insistence that echoed in my soul. I awoke moments later, sunlight still touching the papers on my desk, yet the message remained clear and vivid, etched in the depths of my consciousness. The unseen contributions of African women are sacred, transformative, and vital to the continent's destiny. Their strength is both unyielding and gentle, shaping families, communities, and the future of Africa itself. This was more than a dream. It was a revelation that would guide my decisions, my leadership, and my understanding of what truly sustains a nation. I knew then that I could not remain silent. To ignore this calling would be to deny a truth far greater than any report, statistic, or policy. It was a mission that transcended politics. It was a divine imperative to honor, uplift, and illuminate the lives of those whose work often goes unnoticed but whose impact resonates across the continent. In the stillness after awakening, I reflected on the profound simplicity of the message. Love is not passive. Love is recognition, support, and the courage to tell the world the truth about those whose lives shape ours quietly but profoundly. Every African woman, in her everyday acts of resilience, is a living testament to this truth. Their dedication is not silent. It speaks to the soul of the continent, to the heart of humanity, and to the possibilities of a future transformed by acknowledgement, respect, and compassion. As the vision deepened, I began to see faces first faint, then unmistakably vivid. They were women from across Africa, each carrying the weight of her world, yet radiating resilience and hope. In Ouagadougou, I saw mothers with hands coated in soil, tending fields, cradling children, and moving through bustling markets. Their eyes shone with quiet determination, their expressions a mixture of fatigue and unwavering joy. I realized they were the backbone of families, the unseen pillars who sustained not only their households but the very rhythm of society. Then, Lagos came into view. Teachers stood in classrooms filled with young girls, their voices vibrant, their gestures animated with purpose. They were imparting knowledge, but also inspiration, nurturing ambition in students who might otherwise remain in shadows cast by societal expectations. Each lesson, each word of encouragement seemed to lift generations, planting seeds of confidence, curiosity, and independence. These women were not only educators, they were architects of change, reshaping the landscape of possibility for countless young lives. The vision shifted to Nairobi, where female doctors and scientists worked tirelessly in laboratories and hospitals. I watched as they administered care, conducted research, and developed vaccines. Their hands moved with precision, their eyes focused yet gentle, their presence a beacon of hope. They were not only saving lives, they were cultivating entire systems of health, knowledge, and progress for their communities. The dedication etched in their faces was an affirmation that leadership can emerge in every sphere, and influence can be gentle, consistent, and profound. Accra appeared next. Women led businesses, navigating complex markets and making decisions that reverberated beyond their offices into the communities they served. They created jobs, built economic resilience, and inspired confidence. I noticed the determination in their steps, the clarity in their conversations, the energy in their vision. Each act of leadership, though quiet, resonated with the potential to transform neighborhoods, cities, and eventually nations. As I observed these women, I understood that the common thread was not position or power, but strength, patience, and love. Whether in homes, classrooms, hospitals, or offices, their actions were catalysts for progress. Each woman's contribution was a ripple that expanded far beyond immediate circumstances, shaping the social, educational, and economic landscapes of Africa. These were not exceptional figures because of fame or title. They were extraordinary because of persistence, commitment, and the quiet courage to act despite challenges. In that dreamlike clarity, I sensed the immense responsibility resting on the shoulders of these women. Their labor, often unseen, was the foundation upon which the continent could grow. Their sacrifices, their triumphs, and their failures carried lessons of resilience and hope. And yet, for all the magnitude of their impact, they remained humble, dedicating themselves to tasks that might never appear in official records, reports, or headlines. The images were not merely memories or reflections, they were a revelation. Each woman's life conveyed a narrative of unwavering commitment to family, community, and country. From the hands of a farmer in Burkina Faso to the thoughtful eyes of a scientist in Kenya, from a classroom in Nigeria to a bustling marketplace in Ghana, I saw a tapestry of influence woven by women who dared to nurture, teach, heal, and lead. These images transcended borders, languages, and cultures. They were proof that African women are not just participants in the story of the continent, they are its essential authors. The vision conveyed a truth I had never fully grasped until that moment. The potential of Africa lies not merely in its natural resources or strategic plans, but in the resilience, intelligence, and creativity of its women. Every village, every city, every profession reflected a profound reality. African women are anchors of society, bearers of wisdom, and harbingers of progress. And as I watched, I felt the gravity of what Jesus had shown me to recognize, honor, and share this truth with the world. Even in sleep, the impact of these images was palpable. I felt their energy, their courage, their silent insistence on recognition. I understood that it was not enough for me to witness this alone. These women and their quiet heroism deserve to be celebrated, their stories told, their work acknowledged. The continent's future, its vitality, and its hope were intertwined with the acknowledgement of their contributions, and the responsibility to elevate them rested on everyone who could see, hear, and act. As the vision began to fade, the faces lingered in my mind, vivid, radiant, indelible. I knew that these images were more than inspiration. They were a call to action, a divine reminder that Africa's strength lies in its people, and above all, in the women who labor in love, resilience, and vision. I awoke from the dream, carrying the weight and the privilege of what I had witnessed, aware that the mission Jesus had entrusted to me was no longer optional, it was imperative. In the quiet aftermath of the visions, his voice came again, clearer than ever, yet filled with a gentle authority that resonated in my very soul. "Tell the world their story, Ibrahim," he said. "These women are the future of Africa. If the world honors them, the continent will be transformed." The words were not merely sound, they were energy, coursing through every nerve, awakening a sense of responsibility I had never fully grasped. It was as if every cell in my body understood the weight of the mission, to bear witness to the uncelebrated power, the quiet leadership, and the enduring love of African women. I felt the enormity of the task immediately. This was not a simple message to be noted or shared casually. It was a call to illuminate what the world too often overlooks. The mothers, teachers, doctors, and entrepreneurs I had seen were not exceptions. They were archetypes of the continent's enduring strength. Their resilience, intelligence, and unwavering dedication were the foundation upon which communities, economies, and futures were built. The sacred duty now entrusted to me was to ensure that their labor, their courage, and their quiet heroism would not remain invisible. He continued, his voice both comforting and commanding. "Every act of care, every sacrifice, every patient effort contributes to the fabric of society. If acknowledged, it has the power to reshape nations." I realized then that my role as a leader extended far beyond policy, legislation, or economic strategy. Leadership, I now understood, required the ability to recognize hidden value and elevate it, to bring unseen contributions into the light, and to protect the dignity and potential of those who sustain life in ways often taken for granted. The message resonated deeper than statistics or reports. It was not about numbers alone, though the impact was measurable. It was about acknowledging the inherent worth of every woman who nurtures, teaches, heals, and leads. From the fields of Burkina Faso to the classrooms of Lagos, from hospitals in Nairobi to markets in Accra, each contribution carried weight beyond comprehension. These women were shaping the continent in ways that went unnoticed but were vital to the survival, progress, and hope of Africa. I felt an intense clarity that the mission was both personal and universal. I could not keep this revelation to myself. It had to reach beyond borders, beyond my office, and beyond the confines of my immediate sphere of influence. To honor their work was to honor Africa itself. Each story, each act of courage and perseverance deserved recognition and amplification. The mission entrusted to me was not optional. It was a divine mandate to be a voice for the voiceless, a witness for the unseen, and a messenger of truth and respect. He showed me, in ways that could not be ignored, that the future of Africa is inseparable from the empowerment of its women. Their education, health, and leadership are not only moral imperatives but also strategic necessities for the growth and prosperity of nations. Every girl who attends school, every woman who leads, every female scientist who innovates is a brick in the foundation of a continent that can thrive in equity and justice. The mission I was given was to ensure that these bricks were not hidden but celebrated and supported. In that sacred moment, I also understood the personal dimension of the call. I was to be more than an observer. I was to be an advocate, a storyteller, and a bridge between the world and these remarkable women. The responsibility was immense, but it was illuminated by clarity and purpose. Every African woman I had seen, every action she had taken in love and resilience, was a testament to the latent power that can reshape societies, cultures, and entire nations if given recognition, respect, and opportunity. As the dream began to fade, I felt a profound gratitude and solemn duty. This vision, this encounter, was not a fleeting moment of inspiration. It was a divine commissioning. The sacred mission was clear: to tell the world that African women are indispensable architects of the continent's present and future. Their strength is invisible yet immense, their labor often unnoticed yet foundational, their courage quiet yet revolutionary. It was a call that would shape not only my leadership but the way I understand responsibility, legacy, and service. And as I woke, sunlight once again falling across the papers on my desk, the echo of his words remained vivid, etched into my very being. Tell the world their story, he had said. And I knew with absolute certainty that this was not a suggestion, it was a mandate of faith, of truth, and of love. My role, my mission, and my honor were bound to this sacred task, to ensure that every African woman's contribution was seen, valued, and celebrated as the foundation of the continent's hope and prosperity. In that dream, the vision shifted once more, revealing the potential of Africa's future, a future shaped and illuminated by women. I saw cities like Dakar, Senegal, transformed under the guidance of female leadership. Women held mayoral offices, directing projects to improve transportation, manage waste, and protect the environment. Their decisions were not only effective but inspiring, sending waves of confidence through their communities. Streets were cleaner, traffic flowed smoother, and neighborhoods thrived under leadership that balanced diligence with empathy. It was a glimpse of progress that married capability with compassion, and I realized the profound influence women could wield when trusted with authority. Then I saw rural villages flourishing in Ethiopia, where girls had access to education without interruption from poverty or gender discrimination. Schools bustled with young girls fully engaged in learning, their curiosity unrestrained, their potential no longer curtailed. For the first time, I truly grasped the transformative power of education in the hands of determined women. A girl in school today was not just a child, she was a future engineer, a doctor, a teacher, and a leader. Each classroom was a beacon, each educated girl a bridge between the limitations of the past and the possibilities of a prosperous continent. In Accra, Ghana, I watched schools where 60% of students were female, excelling in mathematics, science, and technology. These girls were learning skills that would allow them to innovate, to lead industries, and to solve problems once considered beyond their reach. I saw classrooms alive with discovery, laboratories buzzing with experimentation, and teachers nurturing ambition without bias. The vision made clear that when women are educated, empowered, and supported, societies flourish not in theory, but in measurable, lasting change. Business districts came into focus, where female entrepreneurs led companies that accounted for more than 40% of regional GDP. These women were creating jobs, stimulating local economies, and providing stability for entire communities. I saw their energy, their strategic minds, and their ability to balance business acumen with social responsibility. Their enterprises were not just commercial ventures, they were engines of opportunity, mentorship, and hope. Through their leadership, communities prospered, and the benefits radiated far beyond the walls of offices and shops. In this vision, I also saw healthcare transformed. Women led hospitals, clinics, and research centers across the continent, saving lives, conducting groundbreaking studies, and implementing public health initiatives that elevated entire populations. From the operating rooms of Addis Ababa to research laboratories in Nairobi, women were not only healers but innovators, educators, and mentors. Each life saved, each program initiated, and each discovery made rippled outward, creating a healthier, more resilient continent. The vision continued. emphasizing the interconnection between education, leadership, and societal well-being. African women, I realized, were the linchpins of sustainable development. Their influence was not just local but continental. Where women were empowered, societies thrived. Where they were suppressed, progress slowed. This was more than an abstract truth, it was a fundamental law of the human and social ecosystem. Education, opportunity, and respect for women were not optional. They were the foundation upon which the continent's future rested. I understood that leadership by women does not diminish men or hierarchy, it completes it. The synergy of diverse voices, when women's talents are fully recognized, produces solutions and growth unimaginable when power is concentrated alone. The vision was not a utopia, it was evidence that Africa could rise in prosperity, equity, and peace, guided by those who have often labored quietly yet effectively, shaping lives with wisdom and care. Finally, the images settled on a continent alive with hope, where girls could dream freely and women could lead boldly. I saw communities investing in education, healthcare, and social services, all informed by the insight and persistence of women at every level. These were women not seeking recognition but effecting transformation. And I understood that their impact, when acknowledged and supported, was a force that could uplift not only individual nations but Africa as a whole. In that moment, I felt both humbled and charged with responsibility. The future I saw was achievable, but only if the world, leaders, and citizens recognized the truth. African women are the heart, mind, and hands of progress. Supporting them is not charity, it is strategy, morality, and justice. And as the vision faded, I awoke with a clear sense of mission to be a messenger, a witness, and a steward of the truth I had been entrusted to carry. When I awoke, the sunlight was still drifting across the stacks of papers on my desk, but the vision remained vivid in my mind. The words of Jesus echoed in the quiet room: honor them, lift them, tell their story to the world. I felt a surge of emotion, a combination of awe, responsibility, and an unwavering sense of purpose. This was no longer a dream confined to my sleep, it had become a calling that demanded action. The faces, the lives, the courage of African women could not remain unseen, and it was now my duty to ensure that the world recognized their extraordinary contributions. In the calm of the morning, I reflected on everything I had witnessed. Mothers in Burkina Faso, teachers in Nigeria, scientists in Kenya, entrepreneurs in Ghana, they were all part of a living mosaic of resilience, love, and leadership. Their influence extended far beyond what any single statistic could capture. They were shaping families, communities, economies, and even the future of nations. The energy and determination that radiated from them in my vision revealed a fundamental truth. When women thrive, society thrives. And when they are neglected, the potential of entire continents diminishes. I felt a deep responsibility to share this truth not as rhetoric or policy, but as a lived reality. The vision had shown me the intimate, human side of progress, the quiet, persistent work that transforms lives over time. Every small act of courage, every act of nurturing, every sacrifice in silence mattered. These were not exceptional women in the sense of fame or recognition. They were exceptional because they persisted, loved, and built in ways that the world often overlooked. Their power was invisible to many, yet it shaped everything that mattered most. The message of the dream was clear. My role as a leader extended beyond administration, beyond governance, and beyond the responsibilities usually measured by reports or statistics. I was to be a witness, a messenger, a voice for those who labored in silence. Their stories were not mine to keep. They belonged to the world, and the world needed to see them, hear them, and honor them. I understood then that leadership without recognition of those who build the foundation is incomplete. True leadership celebrates the unseen, amplifies the quiet, and empowers those who have long carried the weight of progress. I remembered the words he had spoken. Every time you help a woman rise, you are helping a generation. The magnitude of that truth filled me with a sense of sacred duty. The African continent, with all its potential, could not reach its promise unless its women were supported, honored, and empowered. Education, health, opportunity, and leadership for women were not optional. They were essential. I knew that if even a fraction of the world embraced this reality, the transformations I had witnessed in the dream could become tangible, measurable, and enduring. As I sat at my desk, absorbing the weight and clarity of this mission, I realized that the dream was a call to action, not reflection. My commitment had to be immediate and unwavering. It was a task that demanded courage, clarity, and persistence. Sharing the stories of these women, honoring their labor, and advocating for their empowerment was no longer an idea, it was a moral imperative. The future of Africa, the well-being of its communities, and the dignity of its people depended on recognition of this truth. I I understood the power of narrative. Numbers, policies, and programs are important, but stories have a way of reaching hearts that statistics cannot. Through the vivid faces, the determined hands, and the unwavering eyes I had witnessed, I felt compelled to tell the world about the courage, intellect, and resilience of African women. Their contributions, once visible and acknowledged, could inspire not only Africa, but the entire globe to rethink leadership, justice, and opportunity. In that quiet morning, I felt a profound shift within myself. The dream had transformed from a vision into a mission, from reflection into responsibility. The clarity of purpose was undeniable. To honor women, to elevate their stories, and to ensure the world sees their indispensable role in shaping communities, economies, and the future of a continent. I knew this task would not be easy, but I also knew it was necessary. The path ahead was illuminated, not by my authority alone, but by the brilliance of those I was entrusted to lift into light. And so, with my heart full of resolve and my mind clear of doubt, I embraced the mission. The message was no longer confined to dreams. It was alive, immediate, and vital. African women, with their courage, love, and determination, would no longer labor in silence if I could help it. The world would see, acknowledge, and honor their role, and through them, Africa's potential would be realized. As I reflected on the vision and its message, the faces of real women came to mind, women whose courage and determination have reshaped the lives of countless others. Dr. Stella Nyanzi from Uganda appeared in my thoughts first. A scholar and activist, she fought tirelessly for the education and rights of girls, confronting opposition with unwavering resolve. I saw her courage not as mere defiance, but as a purposeful act to carve space for young girls to learn, dream, and rise. Her work is a testament to the power of persistence and the impact one individual can have when they refuse to be silenced. Then I thought of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Nigerian economist and the first African woman to lead the World Trade Organization. Her presence in the global arena demonstrates that African women can shape economic policy on a scale previously unimaginable. She balances intellect with empathy, leadership with strategy, proving that women's contributions are essential not only at the local or national level, but on the world stage. The vision of her leadership reinforced what I had already seen in my dream. Empowerment is transformative, and when women are entrusted with responsibility, the results extend far beyond expectation. Lema Jibowi of Liberia came next. I remembered her courage, leading a women's peace movement that helped end civil war and bring peace to her country. Her story exemplifies the profound influence women have in resolving conflicts and rebuilding societies. Watching her in my mind, I felt the weight of her perseverance, the subtle power of collective action, and the undeniable truth that women, when united in purpose, can alter the course of history. And then Graça Machel appeared, a tireless advocate for children's and women's rights across the globe. Her work reminds me that leadership is not limited to formal titles or offices. It is expressed in the dedication to nurture, protect, and educate. She embodies the qualities I saw in my vision: resilience, compassion, and a commitment to the betterment of others, often at great personal cost. These women, each in her own sphere, illustrate the immense potential inherent in African women and the lasting impact of their courage and determination. As I contemplated their stories, I realized that these examples are not isolated. They are part of a larger pattern. African women, across countries and professions, are quietly transforming societies. Mothers raise children with care and wisdom. Teachers educate generations. Doctors heal and innovate. Entrepreneurs build economies. And activists challenge injustice. Each act, however small it may appear, contributes to the collective progress of communities, nations, and the continent itself. It became clear to me that the women I had seen in my dream were not merely symbolic. They were living embodiments of the truth that African women are the foundation of change. Their courage, intellect, and resilience are the threads weaving together a stronger, more hopeful Africa. The dream had shown me their potential. Reality proved it. From classrooms to boardrooms, hospitals to villages, women were shaping the present and future of the continent. I understood then that acknowledging these women is not just moral, it is strategic. Empowerment is not charity. It is the engine of sustainable development. When women are educated, supported, and recognized, communities prosper, economies strengthen, and generations flourish. These stories, real and compelling, confirm what my vision had revealed. The progress of Africa is inseparable from the empowerment of its women. The magnitude of this truth filled me with both humility and determination. I felt compelled to act, to speak, and to amplify their voices. The lessons were clear. Resilience, courage, and dedication often go unnoticed, but when they are recognized, the ripple effects are profound. These women, through their persistence, intellect, and love, are shaping societies, changing destinies, and modeling the power of unseen leadership. As I sat with these reflections, I felt a sense of sacred duty wash over me. The mission Jesus had entrusted to me to honor, lift, and tell the story of African women was no longer abstract. It was grounded in reality, in the extraordinary lives of real people who embody the vision I had seen. Their courage is a roadmap, their dedication a blueprint, and their lives a source of inspiration for leaders, communities, and the world. In that moment, I committed fully to this mission. I understood that every action to uplift, every story told, every opportunity created for women was a step toward a stronger, fairer, and more prosperous Africa. Their lives, sacrifices, and triumphs are a testament to the continent's potential. And as I reflected on their courage, I knew that the vision of a transformed Africa thriving through the strength, wisdom, and compassion of its women was not only possible but inevitable if the world listened, honored, and acted. As I reflected further, I realized that the stories of courage and resilience I had witnessed were not only inspiring, they were measurable. According to UN Women in 2023, women in Africa comprise 43% of the agricultural workforce. This means that almost half of the continent's food production and rural economy depends directly on their labor. Each seed sown, each crop tended, and each market day managed is part of a vast, largely unseen contribution that sustains families and communities. Their influence is tangible, critical, and undeniable. Beyond agriculture, women lead a significant portion of small and medium enterprises across Africa. Over 30% of such businesses are managed by women, creating employment opportunities and contributing directly to local GDP. These enterprises are not only economic engines, they foster stability, innovation, and social cohesion within their communities. I understood that by supporting women entrepreneurs, the continent is effectively investing in its own sustainable development. Every shop, every service, and every business transaction driven by women strengthens the social and economic fabric of the nation. Education also reveals profound evidence of influence. Research shows that if 50% of girls receive a full and proper education, the GDP of African nations could increase by 12% over the next 20 years. Each child who attends school, each girl encouraged to pursue her potential, represents not only personal growth but also economic and societal advancement. I could see how the work of mothers, teachers, and activists directly feeds this progress, creating ripples of knowledge and opportunity that extend across generations. In health and science, women's contributions are equally significant. Female doctors, scientists, and community health leaders implement programs that save lives and prevent disease, creating healthier, more productive societies. The multiplier effect of their work, improving child mortality rates, supporting maternal health, advancing medical research, is immense. I realized that the impact of empowering women in health is measured not only in statistics but in the very survival and thriving of entire communities. I also reflected on governance. Women in leadership positions, from local councils to national offices, consistently improve outcomes in infrastructure, education, and social services. When women lead, they bring a perspective that prioritizes equity, community well-being, and long-term sustainability. The evidence was clear. Investment in women is an investment in a continent's stability, prosperity, and future. Leadership by women is not symbolic, it is transformative. These statistics reinforce the vision I had seen in my dream. The women I had witnessed, whether mothers, teachers, scientists, entrepreneurs, or leaders, do not operate in isolation. Their work has measurable impact, shaping economies, communities, and lives. Each act of labor, each decision, each moment of care contributes to a larger picture of continental growth and resilience. Their influence is quantifiable, yet the human stories behind the numbers are what make it deeply compelling. The combination of qualitative and quantitative evidence left no doubt in my mind. African women are indispensable. Their efforts sustain agriculture, drive business, educate generations, improve healthcare, and guide communities toward sustainable futures. The statistics are more than numbers. They are proof of the profound effect women have on society. They confirm what I had felt in my heart during the dream, the extraordinary power of women to shape the present and the future of Africa. I understood that this evidence, paired with the stories I had witnessed, formed a compelling case for action. To uplift women, to recognize their work, and to expand their opportunities is not merely a moral imperative, it is a strategy for growth, prosperity, and justice. Every statistic represents lives transformed, communities strengthened, and futures secured. The vision, the stories, and the data together illuminated the path. When women thrive, nations thrive, and Africa as a continent rises. And in this clarity, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The sacred mission given to me in that dream, honoring, lifting, and sharing the story of African women, was not abstract or symbolic. It was concrete, measurable, and urgent. The evidence of their influence confirms what my eyes and heart had already seen. The progress of a continent depends on its women, and the world cannot afford to ignore their power, wisdom, and contribution. In the dream, his voice returned, calm yet commanding, filling every corner of my awareness. They are resilient, like the baobab in the desert, yet gentle as a clear, flowing stream, he said. I felt the weight of the statement, the depth of its truth. The resilience of African women is legendary. They endure hardships, confront challenges, and carry responsibilities that many cannot see. Yet their strength is paired with tenderness, with the ability to nurture, protect, and inspire those around them. This duality power, tempered by compassion, is what shapes families, communities, and nations alike. I reflected on the countless women I had seen, both in my dream and in reality. Mothers rising before dawn to tend fields and care for children, teachers shaping minds and instilling courage, doctors saving lives while mentoring the next generation, entrepreneurs creating jobs and opportunities. They embody a balance of determination and empathy that is extraordinary. Their work is quiet but profound, subtle yet far-reaching. I realize that this combination of strength and gentleness is the foundation of Africa's resilience. He continued, they endure hardships, they nurture, and they guide. They are the pillars of families, communities, and the continent itself. I understood then that the strength of African women is not simply physical or economic. It is moral, emotional, and spiritual. It is the courage to persevere in the face of adversity, the patience to educate and care for others, and the wisdom to lead without seeking recognition. These qualities, though often invisible, are what sustain societies, economies, and cultural continuity across generations. I saw again the women of Burkina Faso, Lagos, Nairobi, and Accra, each representing a facet of this truth. In Burkina Faso, a mother's unwavering attention to her children ensures that the next generation grows healthy and educated. In Lagos, a teacher's determination opens doors for girls to envision possibilities previously denied to them. In Nairobi, a doctor's meticulous care saves lives while fostering community trust in health systems. In Accra, an entrepreneur's vision and risk-taking create stability and opportunity. Each woman, in her domain, exemplifies the rare combination of resilience and gentleness that he had described. The words resonated deeply. These qualities are not simply admirable, they are transformative. Strength without compassion risks rigidity. Gentleness without strength risks ineffectiveness. African women carry both, and through this balance, they create lasting change. Their resilience allows them to endure and act. Their gentleness allows them to nurture and inspire. They are the backbone of households, the architects of social cohesion, and the stewards of progress across the continent. I also realize the intergenerational impact of these qualities. A mother's patience teaches children how to persevere. A teacher's encouragement cultivates ambition in students who will become leaders. A doctor's commitment inspires future healthcare professionals. An entrepreneur's vision offers pathways for others to thrive. The balance of resilience and gentleness, multiplied across thousands of women, becomes a force capable of shaping societies and economies, redefining the future of Africa. He paused, allowing me to absorb the depth of the message. Recognize them, celebrate them, protect them. Every time you honor a woman, you honor the future of your nation and your continent. I felt a profound clarity. Leadership is not solely about laws or policies. It is about recognition and empowerment. To truly lead, one must elevate those whose work sustains the world, whose quiet influence creates the conditions for progress and hope. As I meditated on these words, I felt a surge of purpose. The mission given to me was no longer theoretical, it was actionable. To uplift women, to honor their resilience and gentleness, and to ensure that their contributions are visible is to invest in the moral, social, and economic vitality of Africa. Their qualities are rare, precious, and indispensable. Ignoring them would not only be unjust, but would hinder the potential of an entire continent. The vision closed with a final reminder. These women are the soul of Africa. To see them, to honor them, and to support them is to safeguard hope, progress, and justice for generations to come. I awoke from the dream, carrying this truth as a guiding principle. Their resilience and gentleness are not abstract concepts, they are forces shaping every family, community, and nation. Recognizing, supporting, and celebrating these qualities is not only righteous but essential. In that moment, I felt an unwavering determination. I knew that the mission entrusted to me would require dedication, courage, and perseverance, but it was a task worthy of every effort. African women are the foundation of society, the pillars of hope, and the architects of a future that can only flourish when their strength and compassion are seen, honored, and embraced. Their qualities are extraordinary, and and the world must witness them. In the vision, the dream expanded to show the future of African leadership through the lens of women's empowerment. I saw a mayor in Dakar, Senegal, a woman guiding large-scale projects to improve transportation and the environment. She walked confidently through streets filled with community members who trusted her decisions, inspiring them not only by what she accomplished, but by how she led with fairness, wisdom, and a deep sense of responsibility. The city thrived under her care, and I understood that leadership is not just authority, it is the ability to serve and uplift others, to transform a community through vision and action. Then I saw surgeons in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, women performing life-saving operations with precision and care. Each procedure, each patient saved, radiated hope, and demonstrated how critical women's leadership in healthcare is for the well-being of entire communities. These women were not only healing bodies, they were shaping futures, empowering others through knowledge, mentorship, and example. I felt the weight of their responsibility and the incredible value of their skill, dedication, and unwavering focus. In classrooms across Accra, Ghana, I saw teachers leading STEM programs where young girls excelled in mathematics, science, and technology. Their guidance inspired confidence and ambition, creating generations of young women ready to pursue careers previously deemed impossible. I realized that by nurturing intellectual growth and curiosity, these teachers were investing not only in individual students but in the broader prosperity and innovation of their nations. Education, when led by women, becomes a force multiplier for societal advancement. In Nairobi, Kenya, I saw female scientists working on vaccines, conducting research, and implementing public health initiatives. Their work was meticulous, informed, and life-saving, demonstrating how women in science shape the health and resilience of their communities. They were leaders in every sense, leading innovation, leading teams, and leading change. Each breakthrough they achieved became a testament to the power of women in shaping the future of society through knowledge and action. As I absorbed these visions, I saw a continent being transformed not by chance, but through the consistent efforts of women who lead with both heart and mind. These images reinforced what I had felt throughout my dream. Women are not just contributors, they are architects of Africa's present and future. Their leadership impacts families, communities, and nations. Their influence is systemic, far-reaching, and sustainable. I understood that these leaders of the future were not exceptions. They were examples of what becomes possible when talent, resilience, and opportunity converge. Their achievements were not isolated. They were the result of a network of support, education, and empowerment multiplied across a continent. The vision demonstrated that investment in women through education, healthcare, mentorship, and opportunity produces exponential returns, creating leaders who inspire, innovate, and protect communities. These images left an indelible mark on my consciousness. I saw clearly that the African continent's future depends on women not merely participating but leading in every sector. From governance to healthcare, from education to entrepreneurship, women who are empowered shape outcomes that define generations. The dream had given me a lens through which I could perceive not only potential but responsibility. The responsibility of society, leaders, and the world to see, honor, and invest in these women. In these visions, I also felt hope and affirmation. The faces of these leaders, confident and determined, conveyed a message. Africa's promise is inseparable from the recognition and empowerment of its women. Their leadership is a testament to their intelligence, perseverance, and courage, and it is a call to action for all who have the ability to support, mentor, and uplift them. This was not a distant dream. It was a blueprint, a roadmap for the continent's transformation, anchored in the strength and vision of women. As the images slowly faded, I awoke with clarity and resolve. I understood that my mission was to amplify these stories, to show the world the impact of African women leaders, and to ensure their work, courage, and influence are recognized. These women are not only changing lives, they are shaping nations and, ultimately, the destiny of Africa. Their leadership is proof that the future is not inherited, it is created, nurtured, and empowered, and women are at the very heart of that creation. The dream, the visions, and the real stories all converged into a single undeniable truth. Supporting women is not optional, it is essential. I saw clearly that every act of empowerment creates a ripple that strengthens families, communities, and entire nations. Educating girls is not just a matter of fairness, it is a catalyst for societal progress. When girls are given equal access to education, poverty decreases, healthcare improves, and opportunities multiply for everyone around them. The benefits are tangible, measurable, and transformative. I reflected on the economic impact. When women participate fully in the workforce, societies grow stronger. Women-led businesses stimulate local economies, provide jobs, and offer services that uplift entire communities. I remembered the statistics. Over 30% of small and medium enterprises across Africa are led by women, and when girls are educated fully, the GDP of African nations could increase by 12% over the next 20 years. These numbers are not abstract, they represent lives changed, futures secured, and societies strengthened. Supporting women is both a moral and strategic imperative. But the vision revealed something deeper. This is not just about economics or statistics. Supporting women nurtures hope, resilience, and leadership for generations. Each girl in school, each woman given a platform to lead, is a seed planted for the future. Their success becomes the blueprint for others, showing what is possible when opportunity is coupled with determination. I realized that the real power of supporting women lies not just in immediate results, but in the generational impact that transforms societies from within. Health is another area where support for women produces profound results. Women who lead in healthcare, as doctors, nurses, and scientists, save lives and elevate the well-being of entire communities. When women are empowered to innovate, manage, and care, healthcare systems improve, mortality decreases, and families are healthier. I saw clearly that neglecting the potential of women in any sector is not merely unfair, it is a lost opportunity that costs communities and nations dearly. Investing in women also fosters social cohesion and stability. When women are empowered, communities benefit from their leadership in conflict resolution, education, and local governance. I recalled the mothers, teachers, and entrepreneurs I had seen in my visions. Their influence goes beyond the household or the office. It permeates neighborhoods, towns, and even entire regions. Each act of empowerment, recognition, or mentorship reinforces a network of resilience that sustains societies. I understood then that supporting women is both a moral obligation and a strategic choice. It is justice, equity, and wisdom combined. Every opportunity given, every voice amplified, every barrier removed allows women to reach their full potential, and when they do, they lift everyone around them. Supporting women is not merely an act of kindness. It is a force for development, innovation, and societal transformation. The dream reinforced this truth. Every girl educated, every woman empowered, every leader supported is a step toward a more just and prosperous Africa. These actions reduce inequality, strengthen families, enhance economic growth, and foster a culture of hope. I realize that investing in women is the most effective investment a society can make. Their success is not only personal, it is collective, shaping the future of the continent. As I contemplated this, I felt a deep responsibility. The mission given to me in that dream to honor, support, and tell the stories of African women was no longer abstract or symbolic. It was a guiding principle for leadership, strategy, and morality. Recognizing the power, resilience, and value of women is not optional for a leader. It is essential for the prosperity and future of an entire continent. And in that moment, the vision became a mandate. Every effort I could make to support, educate, empower, and elevate women would be a step toward fulfilling the promise of Africa's future. It was no longer simply a dream, it was a strategy, a moral imperative, and a divine calling. The path forward was clear. African women must be seen, honored, and supported in every sphere, and through them, the continent can realize its full potential. As I reflected on everything I had seen, heard, and felt, his voice returned, gentle yet commanding, embedding itself deep within my heart. Every time you help a woman rise, you are helping an entire generation, he said. The words resonated far beyond the room, beyond the dream, and into the very fiber of my being. I realized that to honor, support, and elevate women is to invest not only in their individual lives, but in the destiny of families, communities, and nations. Each act of reverence, encouragement, or protection multiplies through society, creating ripples that span generations. His message was clear. Women are not simply contributors, they are foundational. Their labor, wisdom, and guidance create stability, hope, and progress. From mothers nurturing children to teachers guiding young minds, from doctors innovating in health to entrepreneurs leading businesses, women shape the continent in ways both visible and invisible. Their influence is not accidental, it is deliberate, consistent, and transformative. By acknowledging and honoring their work, we are embracing the very future of Africa. He continued, praise them, respect them, protect them. Their strength is sacred, their resilience unmatched, and their potential limitless. I felt the weight of these words. They were a mandate not only for my leadership, but for anyone who seeks justice, progress, and equity. The essence of the message was love, not sentimental or abstract, but active, practical, and enduring. Love manifests in recognition, in opportunity, in encouragement, and in the unwavering belief that women's contributions shape society in profound ways. In that moment, I understood the true power of reverence. It is not merely acknowledgement, it is action. To see, to respect, and to support women in their endeavors is to participate in a force far greater than any policy, statistic, or strategy. It is to affirm life, hope, and the continuity of progress. I saw that each action, no matter how small, a word of encouragement, an educational opportunity, a chance to lead, is a manifestation of love and faith in humanity. His message also emphasized the interconnectedness of generations. Each girl who receives education, each woman who gains empowerment, multiplies opportunity across communities. When women rise, they lift families, inspire peers, and ignite the aspirations of future generations. Love, in this context, is both generational and transformative. It transcends immediate impact to shape societies and cultures. Every gesture of support creates lasting consequences, reinforcing the sacred responsibility entrusted to all of us. He reminded me, they are the jewels of this continent, the hope and future of every nation. Honor them, and you honor the promise of Africa itself. These words burned in my heart, leaving no doubt about my mission. Women are indispensable not only to the present but to the future, and recognizing them is an act of love, respect, and foresight. By lifting them, by amplifying their voices, and by ensuring their stories are told, we enable progress that is equitable, sustainable, and just. I felt a profound reverence for the courage and dedication I had witnessed. Each woman, whether in a rural village, a bustling city, a classroom, a laboratory, or a boardroom, carries a weight of responsibility with strength and grace. Their labor, often invisible to the world, sustains lives, communities, and nations. Their resilience, compassion, and intelligence are forces that shape societies in ways far beyond what can be measured in statistics or policy outcomes. This was a sacred calling, to ensure that the world sees what I had seen in my vision. It was no longer enough to admire, to respect, or to reflect privately. Their stories, achievements, and impact must be shared, celebrated, and protected. The dream had given me a mission that was both spiritual and practical, to bear witness to the extraordinary contributions of African women, to elevate their voices, and to create opportunities for them to flourish. As I absorbed this message, I felt an overwhelming responsibility but also hope. I understood that honoring women, supporting their efforts, and amplifying their influence is one of the most powerful ways to create lasting change. Love, in its most effective form, is active. It is encouragement, empowerment, and protection. It is recognition of worth and dedication to expanding opportunity. It is through these actions that societies thrive, economies grow, and communities prosper. And in the quiet after awakening, his words lingered. Every time you honor a woman, you honor a generation. Every time you uplift a woman, you uplift the future. I felt the weight and clarity of this mission settle within me. I knew that my task was not optional. It was a sacred duty, a call to act, to speak, and to ensure that the contributions of women are visible, celebrated, and respected. The message was simple yet profound. Love, recognition, and support for women are the foundation of progress, hope, and the future of Africa. When I finally opened my eyes, the sunlight was still spilling across the papers on my desk, but the clarity of the dream remained vivid in my mind. The voice, the light, the faces, and the message of Jesus echoed with an urgency I could not ignore. I knew that this vision was not meant to remain private. It was a calling to act, to tell the story, and to ensure that the world sees, honors, and values the extraordinary contributions of African women. Their work is sacred, their resilience profound, and their impact immeasurable. I made a promise to myself in that moment to become a storyteller for these women, to share the vision, the faces, and the lessons I had witnessed, to ensure that their courage, wisdom, and leadership are recognized not only in Africa but across the world. I understood that their contributions are the backbone of families, communities, economies, and societies. Each woman who leads, nurtures, educates, or heals is shaping the continent's future, and it is my duty to amplify that truth. I realized that the mission is both moral and strategic. Every girl educated, every woman empowered, every leader supported is not just a personal victory, it is a step toward a stronger, fairer, and more prosperous Africa. The dream showed me that recognizing and supporting women is the most effective investment a nation can make. Education, healthcare, economic opportunity, and leadership for women are not optional. They are essential to the survival and flourishing of the continent. I also understood that this mission requires courage, persistence, and action. It is not enough to admire from afar or to speak in abstract terms. The stories must be told, the examples highlighted, and the opportunities expanded. I would dedicate myself to this task in every way possible, as a leader, as a citizen, and as a messenger of the truth I had been shown. Their voices, their work, and their vision are inseparable from the progress of the continent. The faces of mothers, teachers, doctors, scientists, and entrepreneurs replayed in my mind. Their courage and compassion are not isolated. They are a pattern, a blueprint of how resilience and nurturing can transform lives and societies. Their achievements, whether in small villages or large cities, are proof that when women are given opportunity, the results are profound, measurable, and transformative. I felt the sacred responsibility to ensure that these stories reach those who can act, support, and multiply their impact. In that quiet moment, I reflected on the message of love and reverence I had received. Every act of acknowledgement, every effort to lift a woman, every opportunity provided is a way to honor not only the individual, but the generations that follow. I knew then that my mission was not merely political, but spiritual, moral, and practical. To support African women is to invest in hope, justice, and sustainable progress. I vowed that I would not remain silent. I would share this message in speeches, in meetings, and through every platform available. I would speak to leaders, communities, and organizations, showing the world the indispensable role women play in shaping Africa's present and future. Their work, their perseverance, and their quiet leadership are the foundation of the continent's success, and they deserve recognition, support, and celebration. As I embraced this responsibility, I felt a profound sense of clarity and peace. The vision, the stories, and the data all converged into a single truth. Women are the architects of progress, and the future of Africa depends on their empowerment. Every act of support, every story told, every opportunity created is a step toward fulfilling that potential. I was ready to act, to advocate, and to ensure that this sacred mission becomes reality. And so, with a heart full of determination and a mind clear of doubt, I made a solemn declaration. I am Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso. What I share is the truth I have witnessed. I am Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso. What I share is the truth I have witnessed. I am Ibrahim Traoré, President of Burkina Faso. What I share is the truth I have witnessed. This is not mere repetition, but a reminder to myself and to the world that the vision, the message, and the mission are real. Every woman deserves to be seen, valued, and empowered. Every act to lift, honor, and protect women is an act to strengthen the continent, a step toward justice, hope, and sustainable prosperity. And to those listening, I encourage reflection, conversation, and action. Share these stories, support these leaders, empower women in every sphere of life. The world will be better for it. And if you wish to follow this journey, to witness more stories, or to be inspired by the incredible contributions of African women, I invite you to engage, comment, and subscribe. Every voice counts in amplifying the truth. The mission is sacred. The stories are real. The impact is profound. African women are the foundation of progress, and through them, hope and change flourish. This is the truth I have been shown, and it is the truth I am committed to sharing with the world.